Let's go live to Canad Inns Stadium in Winnipeg. Here are Chris Walby and Steve Armitage. Steve?
Thank you very much, Brian. Hard to believe that there was actually snow on the ground here in Winnipeg less than a week ago. It is perfect today. 16 degrees, and amazing to say at this time of the year, very little wind, if any. Chris Walby, you couldn't ask for better playing conditions as we get this game underway between the Bombers in their new look unis. There's Wally Bono trying to stop the bleeding for the Lions. They have lost their last 2 games in a row after winning 11 straight. It's a different story for Jim Daly on the opposite side of the field. The Bombers trying to get something going. They had a little bit of a win streak in the middle of the season, but things have not gone well since then. Defensively, they are struggling. They are trailing in 13 of 25 defensive categories. The Bombers in their new look unis, their 3rd jerseys, gold with their dark blue numbers, will kick off. Deep to receive, Aaron Lockett and Antonio Warren. Troy Westwood will kick off from his own 35. Antonio Warren crosses the 35, so we'll get our first look at Buck Pierce, the young man who walked into Portland at a tryout camp for the BC Lions, made it through training camp, and is now starting his first game as a pro.
Well, the biggest thing, Stevie, you gotta like about this guy is the composure he showed. Remember a couple weeks ago against Saskatchewan, 5 minutes ago, he pulled that game out, victory for the BC Lions.
1st and 10 Lions from their own 35. Buck Pierce starting in place of the injured Dave Dickinson at quarterback. Fake to Warren. And he puts it up and is complete to Ryan Thelwell.
Nice job of the rookie getting outside, little play action bootleg. As we take a look at the BC Lions offense, Buck Pierce talked about him. New Mexico State rookie gets a start today in place of Dave Dickinson. Jason Claremont, the leader in that inside, him and Simon. What a force at the slot back. And Angus Reid having a stellar year at the center position.
And that completion takes a little pressure off the rookie. Buck Pierce from the shotgun, going to put it up again. And a 2nd straight completion, that time to Claremont.
Well, a situation that what you have to do, we thought we'd see Antonio Warren run the football to help this offensive line. It's been taking a lot of heat. They've given up 59 sacks, the most in the CFL, but excellent job there, allowing a beautiful throwing lane for Buck Pierce to complete that pass to Jason Claremont.
1st and 10 for the Lions in Bomber territory. Antonio Warren. Very little running room on the right side, crosses the 40-yard line of the Bombers. Fields there to make the stop.
Well, a nice job of lining the 3 receivers up, a little triangle of terror to be the lead blockers on this Bomber defense. They've got Osterhaus playing for Doug Brown. They sorely miss him in the lineup. The linebacking crew, Lamar McGrig's back after sitting out last week. And a secondary with Sean Gallant getting his first start in 15 weeks after he recently retraded. Wes Lysek back to Calgary.
They spot the ball at the 39-yard line of the Bombers. 2nd and 2. And they give to Warren. And Warren will be close to that first down marker.
He may have picked it up, but Joe Fleming, the other defensive tackle who sorely misses. We talked about the fact that Doug Brown's not playing. He's going to be teamed up with Osterhaus, John Osterhaus in the middle. He just shoots the gap, beats the block of Kelly Bates, and hits Antonio Warren in the backfield. And they'll bring out the sticks to measure if he indeed did get enough to pick up the first down.
And this is a situation where Buck Pierce has been used by the BC Lions throughout the season. He would come in and run the 3rd and inches situation for Dave Dickinson. But now he's the man in charge, in control of this BC Lions offense. Some running room on the right outside, still on his feet, down inside the 20. A little razzle-dazzle from the Lions there, faking Warren and then giving to Thelwell on the around.
Well, no sense saving plays. Pull everything out, and especially when you have a defense that is so concentrated, so focused on stopping the run with Warren, they all come into the middle, and that allows Thelwell to take the reverse and get some open ground to the outside on the right-hand side, and he does pick up a first down.
18-yard pickup for Buck Pierce and the Lions offense. Pierce with time. And he completes it to Green, coming out of the backfield.
And I think the Bombers will be tagged with a late hit or roughing the passer in addition to the completion. So it's something, if you're a Bomber fan, you don't want to see happen.
Major foul, roughing the passer, Winnipeg number 76. It's a dead ball foul, half the distance to the goal line, first down.
Joe Fleming with the infraction. They'll move it closer, put it on the 7-yard line, but Buck Pierce showing a lot of composure, Steve, just sitting back in the pocket, and we talked about it. He has a very quick release. He's doing a nice job of his pre-snap reads, getting rid of that football.
This drive started for the Lions at their own 35-yard line. They're down to the 7-yard line of the Bombers. First and goal. Warren. And he gets down to the 2-yard line. Woodson there to make the stop for the Bombers.
Antonio Warren taking the sweep, the toss, if you would, to the outside. Getting a nice job of protection from the offensive line, and the 3 receivers. You see G-Roy Siren, number 81, and they're trying to help out. Brought down by Stanford Samuels. And now we're on the 2-yard line.
One of the reasons why BC got out to that 11-0 start. The strong play of Antonio Warren. Second and goal for the Lions. Again, it's Warren. And we get the indication from the Lions saying TD. Corey Mantika with the key block there. And it's Mantika who scooped up the loose ball. Here's Warren.
Well, I see great penetration initially from the interior of the Bomber defense. Stymies that play, but great second effort by Antonio Warren to bounce it to the outside. The ball came loose, and as you say, Corey Mantika, the 13-year veteran out of Jamestown, North Dakota, with the recovery.
We'll have to check the stats on that. That may be the first ever touchdown for Corey Mantika. And the man under a ton of pressure in BC, Duncan Nomani, puts it through the uprights. So the BC Lions on their first offensive possession score and have a 7-0 lead on the Bombers. Welcome back to Winnipeg. BC Lions with an early 7-0 lead over the Blue Bombers. Well, this will be hotly debated, I'm sure, in the Lions' room. Does Mantika get credit for the TD, or do you give it to Corey Warren?
Well, everyone's just going to block down.
Antonio Warren.
As we run the play, you're going to see penetration by the Bomber interior that initially stuffs Antonio Warren, but he bounces into the outside. As he gets to the outside, he crosses that line. The ball comes loose. Corey Mantika is there to recover. They're going to give credit to Mantika, but I think that Antonio Warren had indeed crossed the line first. So I think it's an Antonio Warren touchdown.
And they have given it to Antonio Warren. 8 plays, 75 yards, and they burned up 4:33 on the clock. And on the ensuing kickoff, it was Stokes returning it across the 30-yard line. Flags you down.
And you know who's involved, number 26, Carl Kidd, right in the middle of that.
When is he not involved?
Oh, he loves to play.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, BC number 26, 15-yard penalty, first down.
A lot of talk being made recently, Steve, about the fact that Carl Kidd is not happy with his role. He is starting right now at that outside Sam or strong side linebacker.
But it has been a very effective BC Lions defense, no matter what role Carl Kidd is playing. Kevin Glenn at quarterback for the Bombers. First and 10. give to Charles Roberts, who finds some running room on the outside. Goes out at the 53.5-yard line.
That's a nice job by the Bomber offensive line, staying put. Brent Johnson, the right defensive end for the BC Lions, jumps. Now they stay with Cadence to get a free play. Charles Roberts takes to the outside.
BC, number 87. That penalty's declined. First down.
Charles Roberts, who said that, let's see him jump right there, that he wants to have a big game to honor, even though he's going against him. Coach Dave Ritchie really has got that father-son relationship with him.
Brent Johnson guilty on the outside. He's wearing 97, not 87. And they're going to stay with Roberts. Down outside the 25-yard line. 21-yard gain.
Well, the man they call Blink, because if you close your eyes for a second, he's gone. Does it again. Same play to the outside. Charles Roberts, he's a guy that can hurt you. Done a nice job with early on. How about Milt Stegall? 12 touchdowns, 6 his last 7 games. And Jermise Jones, back from a broken hand, gets a start at left tackle.
2 carries, 36 yards for Charles Roberts. They wanted to get him going early, and they have done just that. 3rd carry. Still on his feet. Down at the 17.
Well, if you want to be successful, the biggest thing you want to do is you want to have great first down production. They're just basically doing a nice job on first down, picking up first downs, and now picking up 8, putting in a second and short situation. Great blocking at the point of attack by Jermise Jones and Matt Sheridan on that left side. The receivers doing a nice job downfield.
Couple of key blocks in this series from Chris Brazel, the former BC Lion, Hamilton Ticat, playing against his old teammates. And Roberts has left the game. Looks like he's favoring a leg. 2nd and 3. Glenn puts it out, and it's complete inside the 10 to Robinson. Scott Robinson, newly acquired.
Well, Scott Robinson, who was fixing toilets and painting walls last week, got the call from Brent Taman. As we look at the Lions defensive line, Brent Johnson, Ferreira's motor never stops. Baron Simpson, the man in the middle. And the defensive back, a good core anchored by Aaron Miles, number 9.
This is a team, Bombers, that has been forced to make a number of changes throughout the course of the season due to injuries and the fact that they have to be rebuilding with that record of 4-10 for next year.
Well, that's what you look at when you first look at it. When you say 4-10, it's not very enticing. Doesn't look very promising. But Jim Daly, sometimes, you know, he'll say he's got to go right to the substructure. You got to make sure your foundation's built before you start building the first floor. And I think they're starting to get there. They're working on the foundation. I think they got good people, but they are playing for next year. I know they say they got a glimmer, but it'd pretty much take a miracle for the Bombers to make the playoffs.
The former BC Lion, Chris Brazel, injured on that last play.
Well, you mentioned it, Steve. He's being active downfield blocking for a lot of the Charles Roberts' early success on those sweeps to the left side, and that's not a good sign. You see athletic therapist Ross Hodgkinson taking him to the sidelines. He's favoring that left leg.
Never really seemed to fit into the system in Hamilton, but he's been a good fit here for the Blue Bombers. I think he's made Milt Stegall a better player.
Well, he is, and he's not a slot back. That was the problem. Hamilton put him on the inside receiver. He's a better outside receiver. You know, he's got good height. I thought he might have some success against the shorter Dante Marsh and Sam Young, the quarterbacks of BC.
Whistles go, flags in the air all over the field. 5th play of this series for the Bombers, trailing 7-0 early in the first quarter. Their first offensive series.
Procedure, Winnipeg, number 54, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Matt Sheridan with the call. The left guard, you see Kevin Glenn there. 20 touchdowns, only 12 interceptions on the year. He's getting it done. Great month of August for him. 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Led him to a couple victories.
The Bombers are 4-6 when Glenn starts and completes a game. That's an interesting stat, and a good one for the Bombers. Puts it up. He's got a man open. Touchdown, Stoddard!
Well, there is a flag on the far side of the field. We'll have to wait to see who that's against. But by the way, they're taking the ball to the 5-yard line for the Conference. It looks or appears to be against the BC Lions. This is a beautifully thrown football by Kevin Glenn, because it allows Jamie Stoddard to make a couple adjustments to catch that in the back of the end zone.
Major foul, roughing the passer, BC number 51. It's a 15-yard penalty. We'll put it on the kickoff. Touchdown stands.
Little in route to the goalpost, break it to the corner. Look how he turns around. That's how badly he had beaten Ryan Phillips. He had time to wait for that ball to come down.
Stoddard doing double duty. Comes off the TD, now holding for the point after from Troy Westwood. And we've got a tie game here at Canad Inns Stadium in Winnipeg. Bombers 7, Lions 7.
Vancouver, you're about 4 hours old. We got you the ball. Thanks a lot.
Jamie Stoddard with his second touchdown of the season. And here's Jamie. He's been working on Ryan Phillips. Now watch as he takes off. It's man-to-man coverage. Ryan Phillips, and he makes a move to the inside. Now as he makes a move in, he freezes the feet, brings it back to the outside, gets great separation. Nice adjustment as the ball in the air, and 13 yards later, it's a touchdown and a tie game.
Westward kicks it out, taken by Aaron Lockett. And Lockett dropped at the 17-yard line.
Charles Roberts to the outside. Nice job, and again, over the middle, Scott Robinson. Finished off by the touchdown to Scott Robinson.
Charles Roberts, 43 yards rushing on that drive for the Bombers to tie the game at 7. First quarter action here at Canad Inns Stadium. Chris, let's take a look at your Gillette game notes here.
Well, we'll start with BC, and the biggest thing on offense, why not Warren? It's the last part of the season. You have to have a running game. Antonio Warren has to be a factor today. And on defense, boy, I tell you, we talk blink no more. That means stopping Charles Roberts, man. They call blink, and he's had a great start early in this game.
So we'll get to do that kickoff following the Bombers' touchdown all over again. This time from the 45-yard line, Troy Westwood lining up to kick to Antonio Warren and Lockett, and it's a boomer taken by Lockett just inside the blue zone. Lockett brought down at the 17-yard line by Samuels. Good downfield coverage by the Bombers. Well, if anybody thought the Bombers were going to roll over and play dead to the BC Lions and their 11-2 record, they got to think again.
Well, I've been very impressed with both offenses. They've come out and marched down the length of the field and put touchdowns on the scoreboard. And of course, for Winnipeg to answer the opening drive by the BC Lions shows a lot about the character of this 4-10 football club.
Buck Pierce making his first start as a pro for the BC Lions. Looked impressive in their first scoring drive. Quick pass, that time over the head of Claremont. Let's go down the sidelines and Elliot Friedman. Elliot?
Thank you, Steve. They are going to cart Chris Brazel out of here. It's his lower left leg, the ankle or the calf area. He tried to stand on it twice on the bench. He couldn't. He had to go right back down. He is done for the day, Steve.
Boy, that's a big loss for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, losing Brazel like that this early.
Well, this early, and I really thought he'd be a major factor today against the smaller corners of the BC Lions, but we'll have to see if Scott Robinson will pick up the slack.
2nd and 10 Lions. Good time for Buck Pierce, and he completes it to Paris Jackson.
Well, you hit the nail on the head right there, Steve. The fact is he has got to have time to let this route develop. Paris Jackson's going to start on the outside, and then he's going to work his way slowly across the middle of the football field. The offensive line gives him the time he needs to complete this pass, and they move it up to the 31-yard line.
Pierce good on 4 or 5 passing attempts for 47 yards. Out of the shotgun this time. Antonio Warren. No running room there. Runs right into Fleming. And that's a big brick wall.
Well, Joe Fleming has taken some heat this year. He hasn't had the great stats. And a lot of times people look at the stats and say if he's not leading the team in sacks or he's not leading them in tackles, he's not doing his job. But he makes everybody around him better. And today, early on in the first quarter, he's made a couple key plays by beating that interior of the BC offensive line.
2nd and 8 for the Lions. Complete. And that'll be close to the first down. G. Simon with his first reception of the game.
Well, they're going to allow the BC Lions to march up and down the football field if they play in what I call a lazy zone. They're just sitting back and they're giving too much of a cushion. And by the time that ball is delivered from Buck Pierce to G. Simon, he's already across the first down marker, and then William Fields will show up.
Such is the great depth of the BC Lions at receiving, with the likes of Claremont, Paris Jackson, Thelwell.
BC Lions kind of got a unfavorable marking of the football. Going to come up 3rd and less than a yard.
The man who calls the offense for the BC Lions, Jacques Chapdelaine, and Buck Pierce will take all his signals from that man from the sidelines. An early gamble for the Lions. And that'll be interesting to see where they spot that one. Pierce really didn't get a big jump off the snap.
He just did enough to find the hole and keep his legs driving after initially being stopped short. I'm a little surprised that the interior of the Bomber defense is not in a 3-point, standing in a 2-point in a squat position trying to stop a quarterback sneak. I don't think it'll be very successful, Steve. You got to get lower than that offensive lineman. You're not going to do it in a 2-point.
Well, they get the first down. They're 1st and 10 from their own 42-yard line. Tied at 7, first quarter. Pierce. And that was in and out of the arms of Claremont. He liked that one back.
He liked that one back. He had Boyd Barrett beaten, but he had to turn and try to adjust the ball. It was behind him. As he went back to try and reach to pick up that football, he couldn't come up with the catch. But as you say, you know, Jason Claremont has got a reputation for making the difficult catches look easy.
None of the BC Lions receivers would say there's much of a difference between Buck Pierce and Dave Dickinson, but you got to believe that the timing would be slightly different. Lots of time for Pierce. Short of the first down marker. Woodson in on the tackle for the Bombers.
One of the things that Buck Pierce said that I thought was very interesting, he says, you know, I like to sit in the pocket a la Dave Dickinson, work the clock, do a little ball control offense, get my reads quickly. But he says, I really can't take off. I'm a great runner. He says, I do a little bit of Casey Printers. I'll get outside, I can get away from trouble, and he displays that there on that particular down.
Buck Pierce, impressive so far in his professional start, his first ever for the BC Lions. Been used in the backup role, but getting the call in place of the injured Dave Dickinson and ahead of Casey Printers. O'Mani punting to Stokes. Stokes at the 20. We're tied at 7 here at Canad Inns Stadium in Winnipeg. Blue Bombers and Lions. Perfect day for CFL action on CBC. Winnipeg and the BC Lions here at Canad Inns Stadium in Winnipeg. 16 degrees Celsius. Who would have thought that based on weather conditions earlier this week? The Bombers will start this march from their own 27.5-yard line. Kevin Glenn, impressive in the Bombers scoring drive. Using that man, Charles Roberts. This time, nowhere to go for Blink. Let's take a look at the Winnipeg game notes.
Well, for Winnipeg on offense, Milt's the man. We're talking obviously about Milt Stegall. 7 touchdowns this last 6 weeks. Actually, the last time he played the BC Lions, over 200 yards receiving. And on defense, the buck stops here. They've got to pressure and put some hits on newcomer Buck Pierce.
Buck has certainly done his job for the BC Lions, as has Kevin Glenn so far. From the shotgun. Over the middle, looking for Stokes, playing in place of Brazel, and that was a catchable ball.
Well, it's a catchable ball. It's also a drive killer because it brings down the punt team. And it's a scenario where Keith Stokes, who is the second leading receiver on the football club, we know what he does in special teams. He's got a couple of steps on Dante Marsh, but he just cannot catch the ball.
Kicking controversy in BC, but not a problem here for the Bombers, especially in the punting department with John Ryan.
You think about the pressure young John Ryan had coming and replacing the legend Bob Cameron.
Let go.
Not one of his better punts. Lockett inside the 40. Now at the 45. He's got room. Brought down at the Bombers' 40-yard line by McKinley, but flags are down. 44-yard punt, 26-yard return.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Subway Restaurants. Subway. Eat fresh.
Flag on that punt from John Ryan, and that will move the Lions back as they start their drive.
And interesting, Steve, one of the things that Coach Buono wanted to have was Aaron Lockett to put some fuel in his tank and get going last week against Saskatchewan. 0 yards. That's such a great job the Saskatchewan Roughriders did on his punt returns. He only had 3. They kicked away from him, but on his 3 returns, he was limited to 0 yards.
Ball at the 32. 1st and 10 Lions. Pierce completes. G. Simon.
Let's take a look at our first mic'd up with G.
Here we go
Simon.
now. Let's go, baby. What's up, man? Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? What's going on? I turned the wrong way, man. I turned the wrong way.
He's got the mic on today, G. Simon. But the Bombers' defense coming up big there when they had to, led by Joe Fleming.
Well, 76 is really having an outstanding early part of this ball game. Once again, making his presence felt in the backfield of the BC Lions, beating the block.
Gotta get the first down. Let's go.
Corey Mantiga cannot bring him down. Joe Fleming brings the ball carrier down, and once again, O'Malley is on to punt.
And Stokes is back to receive this punt from Duncan O'Malley. The man on the hot seat, not for his punting, for his place kicking in BC Lion land. First 2 and out for the Lions in this game, and that's a good punt. Stokes inside his own 20. Still on his feet. Still going. Flag is down. O'Malley tries to make the tackle. Stokes all the way, but a flag is down.
Well, the Bomber offense is walking on the football field, and they're walking in the direction of the flag. The terrible part about this is the flag was thrown away from where the ball carrier was. It's behind the scenes. Really probably didn't have to be, or probably didn't have to happen. And as a result, it's going to negate a huge return for a touchdown by Keith Stokes.
Holding. Winnipeg number 15. 10-yard penalty. First down.
A 90-yard return negated by a holding penalty. And here it is.
Well, I got to question that one. He just threw him down. Again, we talked about it was away from the play, Steve.
Hey, can I get my money?
But it cost them dearly.
Good play selection. Regenball coming out of the backfield for that one for the Bombers. They have the ball. They're on offense, and we're tied at 7 here in Winnipeg. Welcome back to Winnipeg and the second half of the doubleheader. CFL on CBC. Thanksgiving Day double. BC Lions and Blue Bombers. Stats in the first quarter.
Well, we take a look at it. Obviously, the yards passing, but I think the biggest thing you got to look at is the time of possession favoring heavily the BC Lions. We know the Winnipeg offensively ranks last in time of possession. The interesting thing about this stat board is had that penalty not happened on the Keith Stokes 90-yard punt return, Winnipeg would have the lead.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Ball spotted at the 30-yard line of the Bombers. Glenn with time. In and out of the arms of Scott Robinson. Dante Marsh covering on the play.
Well, Scott Robinson, who just got the call earlier this week from Brennan Taman to come in. Obviously going to be utilized a lot more with the injury to Chris Brazel. Nice job by that offensive line, keeping the BC defenders out, allowing Kevin Glenn to at least attempt that throw.
A little behind Robinson. And that brings on John Ryan. And punt from his own 20. Aaron Lockett set to return.
Let him go.
Close to being blocked. Good pressure from the Lions.
Get up, Theo. Get up,
Lockett
Theo.
at his 35. Still on his feet, but tripped up at the 35-yard line. Another flag is down. 42-yard punt, and he loses 3 yards on the return.
Well, I believe the man that came near to blocking that punt was Baron Miles, who holds the Montreal Alouette record, franchise record with 7, and already has one block punt earlier.
BC, number 91, 10-yard penalty, first down.
You can ill afford to let that man free. He's just coming right up there, and you cannot let that guy go unblocked. Your up back has to step up and block him to the outside. Do not wait for the man to come to you. You go meet him.
What a difference he has made to that BC Lions secondary. His experience, very calm, cool, steadying influence on the Lions secondary.
I was by him, just keeping the ball.
1st and 10 Lions. Buck Pierce, the quarterback, tied at 7 in the second quarter. Gets the time, and it's almost picked off. Samuels in and out of his arms.
Well, Samuels has 2 interceptions, and that should be 3 on the year, as it was right to him. I believe Stanford Samuels was looking at the goal line, just took his eyes off this football for just a split second. Ball thrown behind the intended receiver, Geroy Simon, and closest man to it was indeed Samuels. That's a ball that has to be caught. You want your defense to try and create turnovers. Here's one that got away from the Bombers.
From the shotgun, 2nd and 10 BC. Pierce eludes the pressure. Still going. He doesn't know when to stop.
Well, you also got to like one thing. Buck Pierce gets around the corner. He gets out of trouble. That's one. But two, a lot of quarterbacks will just run out of bounds when they get the first down. Watch as he gets around to the outside now. He knows he's got to run. Gavin Walls can't bring him down, but instead of going to the sideline, he comes back in the middle of the football field. That's toughness.
And he's still going forward and not sliding, which I'm sure the Wally Bono would like to have seen him do. Pierce, shovel pass to Warren. Warren crosses the 50 and a flag goes down. Wickman in there to make the tackle for the Bombers.
Well, this is a late flag, and it was thrown after Antonio Warren had taken the shovel pass and picked up the yardage. I believe it'll be a holding call against the offensive line of the Lions.
Holding. BC number 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Yeah, Corey Mantique, and I think once again he was working against Joe Fleming, having his hands full with number 76. I saw Joe signal the hold, and naturally putting 2 and 2 together and assuming that he was the one that did get held.
Mantica very much involved in the Lions' first touchdown. At one point we thought he had recovered the fumble in the end zone, but they gave it to Antonio Warren. 1st and 20. Screen to Warren, and he is dropped. Osterhaus, number 77, getting in there for the Bombers.
That's a great job by Osterhaus, reading the play, realizing, re-seeing his defensive end as they try to cut him on the outside. He just skates to the outside and picks up the back. Little screen. Osterhaus, a little help from his friend Lamar McGriggs to bring him down.
So the Lions have dug themselves a hole thanks to that man. 2nd and 25. Pierce breaks free, but he's going nowhere. Walls, the man of the moment for the Bombers.
Well, Gavin Walls will clean up this play. But Tom Canada, what an effort by number 44. Just watch this effort as he goes inside against Sherko Razuli. Then inside on Kelly Bates, and he's got one hand on the jersey. Can't bring him down. Gavin Walls finishes off Buck Pierce with a big hit from behind.
3 straight offensive drives. The Bomber defense, the much maligned Bomber defense, has come up big and forced the Lions to punt. Tom Canada, big on that series. Duncan O'Mahony will get this punt away just inside his own 15-yard line. It's a good one. Stokes. And Stokes can't stay in bounds, but when we come back, the Blue Bombers will have the ball and try to break this tie. Welcome back to Winnipeg, tied at 7, 2nd quarter. Here at Canad Inns Stadium, Bombers and BC Lions. Offenses rule in the opening quarter. The defenses have taken over in the 2nd. Kevin Glenn and the Bombers. 1st and 10 on their own 37. Roberts turns it up and is forced out of bounds at the 50.
The BC Lions look like they've got the speed to get to the outside to string this pass or this running play. There's 2 guys initially outside of Charles Roberts, but look at the speed shown by number 1 as he gets to the outside, finds his sideline, tight ropes it, and picks up a 1st down.
That's why they call him Blink. You do that and you miss him. As he turned the corner, great acceleration, tremendous speed and heading upfield. Roberts is going to put it up. It's a floater and it's picked off. Miles with the interception.
Steve, the biggest thing about this play is, and I can guarantee you right now, that this play was initially put in for Charles Roberts to throw to Chris Brazel. Brazel left the game early with a knee injury or lower leg injury. Scott Robinson has to come in. He loses the ball. This is a scenario where you want Chris Brazeau to use his height, find the football, make the play. Charles Robinson gets laid on his back after throwing the football. It's just a question right now. The newcomer, Scott Robinson, cannot find the football, and an easy interception for Baron Miles.
I think a mistake on the part of the Bombers. Roberts puts it up, Miles intercepts, and the Lions are now 1st and 10. And Pierce incomplete, intending for Thelwell.
Stanford Samuels, excellent job of beating the would-be blockers to shoot through the 2 blockers to bring down the intended receiver.
Casey Printers on the sidelines. You have to wonder if Buck Pierce can't get this offense going. How long will it be before Wally Bono decides to go with Casey Printers? 2nd and 10 Lions. And that's a bad pass. That was intended for Paris Jackson, well over his head.
Well, Paris Jackson initially had the halfback Brad Franklin beat to the field. But as you stated, just an overthrown football, and that's what's happened lately. Buck Pierce, who started the game on fire, basically quick reads, delivering the football very efficiently, has really struggled as of late.
They look pretty calm, cool, and collected in that opening quarter, but the wheels have come off and they're spinning for Buck Pierce and the Lions offense. Duncan O'Mahony will punt this away from his own 15. And a good punt. Stokes at the 45. And Stokes dragged back inside the 45. Good downfield coverage by the BC Lions specialty teams. Tied at 7, 2nd quarter here in Winnipeg. A familiar tune. We welcome back Hockey Night in Canada. And if that game, Toronto-Montreal, is anything like the first one, it should be a dandy. The Bruins in against the Senators, and Edmonton at Calgary. The Battle of Alberta. 3 games next Saturday on Hockey Night in Canada. Here in Winnipeg, 1st and 10 Bombers from their own 47. Pitch to Roberts. This time goes nowhere.
Well, the reason this play did not work was Chris Wilson, number 99, the rush in, comes upfield, and ESC under number 99 forces Charles Roberts back in to the tackling force, the middle of that BC line, defensive line, Tyrone Williams and Frank Ferreira.
The last one on the play, 2nd and 11. Kevin Glenn from the shotgun. And he is brought down. That's a sack. Johnson. He hasn't missed too many this year.
Well, Brent Johnson, who's been fighting a little bit right now, hasn't had a sack in the last 3 games. Want to break out of that slump. He does it right there. Just continues to work against Jermise Jones, who's in for the injured John Fugel, who is out for the season with a knee injury. Brent Johnson with his 10th quarterback sack in the season.
Get out of here.
And once again, the Bombers are 2 and out. John Ryan has to come on and handle the punting duties. Tripped up at the 40-yard line. So when we come back, the BC Lions will have the ball. BC Lions were 1st and 10, and they gave it to Antonio Warren, but he got little or no running room on the right side. McGriggs made sure of that.
Well, McGriggs is just going to shoot from the backside. Doesn't get picked up on the interior of the line. Brings down Antonio Warren after a 2-yard gain.
Sir.
2nd and 8 Lions. Good pass over the middle, complete to Claremont. And Claremont is a tough man to bring down. Good yards after the catch. Crosses the 50-yard line.
That's a big play for Buck Pierce because he has not had much success throwing the football in the second quarter, but he gets time. Finds Jason Claremont, and as you say, he is tough to bring down. Breaks 2 tackles and drags the 3rd one. And I believe they're going to tack on some additional yards as Osterhaus hits him with a late hit. These are penalties that really do not help you. I know that's an understatement, but you got to play smart football. You're in this game. Don't shoot yourself in the foot.
So a net gain of 33 yards for the BC Lions on that play. They're 1st and 10 from the 34. Good fake to Warren. Buys Pearson time, now under pressure. Gets it away, but there was no chance that was going to be complete.
Initially a great fake. All the linebackers jumped up, they bid on it, but he got initial penetration from the Bomber defensive line, disrupted Buck Pierce. Gavin Walls did not go with the fake. He stayed in his pass rush route. That forced Buck Pierce to take off to the sideline, and play falls unsuccessful.
Pierce good on 8 of 14 passing attempts for 76 yards. 2nd and 10 BC. A wide open Jason Claremont, and Claremont brought down just outside the 10-yard line by Gallant.
Jason Claremont is wide open on the left side. Let's just watch Tom Canada working against Corey Manteca, and he's going to get the corner. And he gets pushed down, and he wants the flag. He's not going to get it. Got enough time for Pierce to go downfield, deliver the ball to Jason Claremont, who this last series or so is really making an impact.
And they spot the ball just outside the 10-yard line. Pierce passing, and that is not in the end zone. Complete to G. Roy Simon. And we've got one of the officials down and injured on the play.
Well, he was sandwiched between the defender and the receiver. Remember, he's not wearing any equipment.
Boy, you hate to see that. These guys will work game after game after game and never pick up as much as a bruise. And then you see a situation like that.
Well, that's one of those situations where it is a timing route. G. Roy Simon is just going to break his pattern off, come right underneath the goalpost. And Pierce is just going to deliver the football. And unfortunately,
we take it for granted, but that is a harsh working environment for the officials, and we've got one injured on the turf here in Winnipeg. Welcome back to Winnipeg, where the umpire in this game, Bill Haggins, is still down on the turf here at Canad Inns Stadium, receiving attention from the Bombers training staff. That's a good sign. He's on his feet, puts his cap back on, and this is how he got hurt.
Well, you see that G. Roy Simon, as he tries to go down to avoid Simon to come across the middle, he actually catches Simon's knee in the side of his head. Another look at it from a different angle. And he gets rolled over by Ron Ockamy, so not only does he get hit in the head, he gets piled on the Bomber linebacker, and it's nice to see. We make a little humor because Bill Haggins, the warrior that he is, got up, shook it off, put the hat on, let's play ball.
I'm ready. Wrong place, wrong time for the umpire in this particular case, but as you can see, he's okay. And the BC Lions are inches short of a 1st and goal situation. We're tied at 7, 2nd quarter. Just under 5.5 minutes to play on a beautiful afternoon, Thanksgiving Day afternoon in Manitoba. Pierce on the quarterback sneak. Touchdown, BC.
One of the things about a young quarterback is as he lines up under the center, Angus Smith, he's going to take a look and find what he considers the weakest spot in that defense. makes his predetermined read and just dives over the left side behind Rizzulli and Bates. Crosses the line and picks up a nice touchdown. Culminates a nice drive.
Bucky ball is alive and well for the BC Lions right now. That brings on Duncan O'Mahony for the point after. And that was a line drive through the uprights for O'Mahony. The important thing for the Lions, they're up by 7. The young quarterback making his professional start for the BC Lions, Buck Pierce, gets the TD.
Well, he's going to look for the sauce spout, and he's just going to go over the left side. He got a tight end there, but it's basically Rizzulli, Bates, and Angus Reid. He goes airborne, but gets enough lift to break the line.
We've seen Pierce do that on a number of occasions throughout the season when he has come in relief of Dave Dickinson. He'll take most of the quarterback sneaks and does it well. That time it results in a scoring play. And the Lions are in front. Brett Anderson kicks off. And look at that. Stokes was waiting for the ball to go out of bounds.
Bomber offense is going to take it at the 35-yard line.
Elliott.
All right, well, just a note from earlier on when Keith Stokes took that touchdown back and had it called back, he has a bet with some teammates on the Blue Bombers that if he scores a touchdown during a game, they all have to give him $100. If he doesn't score, he has to pay all of them $30. So when the play got called back, he ran by a couple and said, "Do I still get paid?" They said, "Nope, doesn't count, flag." So Stokes is angry for 2 reasons, guys.
Well, Elliott, maybe that would be one of the reasons that Ockamy took that hold. He didn't want to pay.
Didn't want to give Stokes the money. Well, the Bombers go to work following the Lions' touchdown. 1st and 10 from their own 45. Pitch to Roberts. And Roberts makes something out of nothing there. Comes up just shy of the 50-yard line. Wilson and Ferrara combining to bring the talented running back of the Bombers down.
Well, you cannot but be impressed with Charles Roberts. All 5'7" and 170 pounds soaking wet. The leg drive, I mean, he got great vision. He knows exactly when to cut, and the legs are always churning.
Roberts comes off, gets a break. Bombers in a passing situation. Glenn from the shotgun. Needs 6 for the first down. And he's close to it. Completes it to Robinson. I've been impressed with this Bomber newcomer. He's a big target.
Well, he's a big target. The biggest thing I like about him, he's 6'2", 210. He hasn't played in a while. Was with Edmonton Eskimos. Actually, in his best year, 2002, he had 21 catches for almost 300 yards. Just happy to be playing football. I'm excited about to get an opportunity, not only coming, but being able to dress in the first week you get here, and he's making an impact.
Jumbo!
Half a yard short of the first down.
You heard them yelling jumbo, and that's the big men, the tight ends, the short yardage offense.
Roberts is back in the game, but I'm not sure you go to Roberts in this situation.
I agree with you, Steve. When it's 3rd and less than a yard, your quarterback should just take it behind the center and dive forward and pick up the first down.
And that's exactly what the Bombers have done to keep this drive alive, trailing 14-7.
And you could hear the smash of the helmets all the way up here in the booth. As that offensive line and the BC defensive line, they were cracking heads in the middle.
Jim Daly of the Bombers looking nothing like their 4-10 record would indicate.
He's got to be pleased with the way this offense is moving and the play of his defense.
The battle of the quarterbacks favor Pierce right now.
Let's go!
Glenn, 1st and 10. Puts it up. Looking for Robinson. Nowhere near him. Dante Marsh covering on the play and doing a good job. BC in front by 7. 2:59 to play, second quarter. Lions up by a touchdown over the Bombers here in Winnipeg this afternoon. Milt Stegall not been a big factor offensively for the Bombers so far.
Well, not very happy is he comes in the middle and wide open. You see him signaling there, a little frustrated. Baron Miles recognizing the error and saying, thank you, Lord, for allowing me to get back on that one. But Milt Stegall has not had a pass reception this afternoon.
Charles Roberts has done most of the offensive damage for the Bombers. 2nd and 10. A wide open Stegall! Touchdown, Winnipeg!
Well, you think that Milt Stegall got in the ear of Kevin Glenn and said, hey, I was wide open. Are you guys seeing me? 85, I'm down the field. I'll be running the seam route. Come back, goes the other way this time, wide open, gets behind the coverage of Dante Marsh, 31, and the results are terrific for the Bombers.
Get it, baby.
Two more still, bro. 2 more.
I can't see the dance. Y'all going
We gonna get it. We gonna do it.
Just in case you were wondering where Milt Stegall had disappeared to, he reappeared in a hurry. A 54-yard touchdown play, his 13th TD of the season, and the Bombers are right back into this one. We are tied at 14. Kevin Glenn responding to the pressure from his opposite number, Buck Pierce.
Well, you know, we just brought up the point that when you got a guy like
I don't know what they were doing right there. Was it hold or?
No end. It's a 5-yard penalty. We'll repeat the convert.
I think that that's a situation where if they're having breakdowns in that secondary, and it happened to play previous, we showed Milt Stegall wide open on the other side. They come right back. You take a look at him. 125th career touchdown, all of them with the Blue Bombers, a remarkable statistic.
And I asked him yesterday if he was going to play next year. He said, I'll play forever, but he's going to talk to his family before he makes a decision. Westwood with a second crack at the extra point. And that again ties it at 14.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's just a big play, great protection. Look at the throwing lane, and then he gets it downfield, a breakdown in the coverage. You see Dante Marsh, 31, coming over late, but if you let Milt Stegall run that seam pattern straight north, you're in trouble. Nobody jammed him, nobody got a hand on him, and he's already pointing to the end zone because he knows it's 7.
That is money in the bank. Milt Stegall.
Well, one of the reasons of Milt Stegall and Charles Roberts, who we saw already, as you say, having a great first half, being named to the 20 greatest Blue Bombers to ever play in this franchise history.
And my congratulations to the gentleman standing to my right. Chris Walby named to that elite group of 20 all-time. The Bombers celebrating their 75th anniversary this week. A lot of the old Bombers in town, like Kenny Blaine, Willard Reeves, Joe Pavlovsky. Lockett. Get a little bit of running room on the right side, but there's a flag down, tripped up at the 36-yard line by McGriggs.
Well, as they sort this out, this is a big defensive stand for the Bombers.
Offside, Winnipeg, number 32. It's a 5-yard penalty. We'll re-kick.
There's Boyd Barrett jumping the gun. We'll do it all over. 5 yards back.
Only 2 offensive linemen were named to that all-time Blue Bombers dream team. And guess what? Chris Walby was one of those 2 offensive linemen. Some great years, a lot of memories here at Canad Inns Stadium. Of course, in the days that you played, it was Winnipeg Stadium. Congratulations on the honor. You've got to be pleased to be in that group.
Well, you're humbled by being in that group, and that's exactly what it is, especially when you see some of the names that have passed on or are still in that group, like Indian Jack Jacobs, Tom Casey. I mean, you just send shivers through you.
They re-kick, and Lockett gets about to the same place he was last time, and again, McGriggs is the guy that trips him up. So Lockett gets over the 35-yard line for the Lions, where they'll go back on offense trying to break this 14-14 tie.
But it's a big stand for the defense right now. You've got momentum. You've just exploited the BC defense. You want to come out strong and shut down this BC offense.
2:34 to play. Second quarter, tied at 14. Buck Pierce from the shotgun. 1st and 10 BC. That's Green, and he crosses the midfield stripe. Woodson is there to make the stop, otherwise Green was gone.
You could never forget about anybody on that offense. And I know Lyle Green doesn't get to touch the ball a lot, but when he releases and just becomes a little bit of a flat-out screen, just dump him the football. The man in coverage, Sean Woodson, is trailing him. He's not expecting it because they haven't looked at him all afternoon. You always got to take care of your responsibilities.
On the midfield stripe, 1st and 10 BC. Oh, terrific hit! Coming from nowhere. Walls getting inside the Lions' backfield.
Well, Gavin Walls, he's a keeper. They love this kid. Pure energy. 7 sacks on the season. Just shoots through and literally rocks Antonio Warren in the backfield. It's a great job by your defensive end.
A loss of 2 for Warren on that hit from Gavin Walls, using his 235 pounds to great advantage on that hit. 2nd and 12 Lions. Pierce with time, and there is nobody there. You have to believe that somebody ran the wrong route. Either that or Pierce just put it up.
Well, Pierce expected Jason Claremont to keep running. Claremont was being held by Boyd Barrett. He didn't get the call. He walked back to Buck Pierce and said, hey, they got me by the jersey, just missed the call.
He's getting held up. This is the CFL. They got to hold those guys. Don't get stuck, man. Come around.
That's exactly what happened. He was held up. Pierce read the route perfectly, but Claremont just was held up. Couldn't get to it.
Boyd Barrett got away with one there.
O'Mahony to punt. Punting out of bounds. Good solid punt that time from Duncan O'Mahony.
Let's go, man. Let's go, guys. Let's go.
Bombers will take over on offense. Tied at 14, a 35-yard punt and no return. That's one way to take Stokes out of the equation. Punted out of bounds. Coming up on our Canadian Tire at the half, highlights and analysis and the history of excellence. Deepest start for the Bombers on offense. From row 22 to give to Roberts. He couldn't get on track. Didn't know where to run.
Nice job by the interior of the defense of the Lions to take Charles Roberts down as he just receives the football. It's 2nd and 10.
.129 to play, second quarter in a 14-14 tie. Here in Winnipeg. Elliott.
Steve, Bill Haggins, that referee or the umpire that was injured early on, unfortunately has left the game. We'll try and get an update on his condition. But what this means is that the current crew is going with 6 officials. And the one that is missing now, as someone moves into the umpire's position, is the deep man. There are 2 guys on the ends, but they take the deep guy away. So it's a 6-man crew. We're 1 referee short for now. Steve?
Well, we don't see that too often, and we hope that Haggins is okay and nothing serious. But he was in a certain amount of trouble. He was down on the turf for quite a while. He'll get good medical attention here in Winnipeg. Glenn under pressure, and he's going down. Johnson, second sack.
Well, second sack by Brent Johnson. This is a coverage sack. That's an excellent job downfield of the secondary and linebackers dropping into their cover zones, taking away any receivers that Kevin Glenn may try and get the ball to. And as a result, he's got to pull it back down. Decides late, he's going to try and take off with it. But Brent Johnson says, no, I think I'll bring you down. And as you say, his 11th sack of the season. One better than last year when he finished with 10.
That BC defense improved with the coaching of Dave Ritchie.
And you cannot play conservative. Now they've got to punt the ball from their goal line.
And that's blocked! Touchdown! BC, if they can control it. They couldn't control it. Unbelievable!
Well, instead of 7 points, they get a big break and get a safety.
All Anderson had to do was fall on it, and it's a TD.
Don't try to look pretty by picking it up. You see Wally Waddle shaking his head in disbelief. Right up the middle. Not Mikhailosha with the block. And as you say, Brett Anderson just had to pick it up, and that is the Keystone Cops back there. And instead of 7, they get 2.
I got it. No, you got it. Keystone Cops is right. Wally can't believe it.
Nobody wanted that one. And he's going to hear about that. They'll play that over and over in special teams meetings tomorrow. He's going to take some ribbon on the flight home.
Terrific block, a loose ball in the end zone, but the Lions couldn't fall on it. So instead of 7 points, they get 2, and they lead 16-14. Lions first and 10 from their own 35. Pierce has time, looking for a man, and he fires incomplete. He was looking for Myers.
And another official, Glenn Johnson, the referee, down. He's in the back watching the play from behind, and he got caught up with Tom Canada. He's also slow to rise.
And Angus Reid is down. He's a BC Lion that's down on the turf. Bill Richelt, the BC Lions longtime trainer, on the field.
You see, it's just Tom Canada as he tries to go over the pile. Not making contact with Buck Pierce. Leg whips Glenn Johnson, who shakes his head. He can't believe it. It's one of those days. They have to go in the locker room and maybe have a group hug.
This is Reed getting hurt. Oh, that does not look good. Oh, that hurts.
We've seen that over the years, Steve, where as a lineman, you can't see or protect yourself from anything that's coming from the side. And you see that Angus Reid was blocking it from the side. It rolled up. Someone rolled up on his right knee, and boy, it did not look good.
Interesting game here this afternoon in Winnipeg. We've got a big one headed your way next Saturday. Danny Barrett and the Rough Riders had that winning streak snapped by the Montreal Alouettes. They travel to Commonwealth Stadium to take on the Edmonton Eskimos. Mo Elwanabi comes into the game for the BC Lions, as Angus Reid is helped off the field by trainer Bill Richelt. There's Big Mo, former Bomber.
Now, when Abiu started his career with these BC Lions, came over for a stint as a Bomber, back with the Lions, and play either center, guard, or tackle.
2nd and 10 for the Lions. Pierce buys time with a pump fake, completes it at the 40-yard line. Antonio Warren.
Short pass over the middle. Not enough. Bring on Duncan O'Mahony to last 47 seconds.
There's O'Mahony, who had to fight for his place kicking job with the BC Lions this past week. They brought in Clinton Greathouse to challenge him in that department. He was never going to lose his punting position, but his place kicking job was definitely on the line, and he survived the challenge from Greathouse and Mark McLaughlin, who they brought in, the former Calgary Stampeder.
Well, that was interesting in the fact that McLaughlin was in Vancouver on business, phoned Wally and asked for a tryout.
Stokes at the 40, brought down at the 41, but there's a flag down on the play with 39 seconds to play in the second quarter. BC up by 2, 16-14.
Well, I still can't get over the big break that happened on that punt block. Not Mikhail Osha with the block, and Brett Anderson, who just failed to pick that ball up in the end zone. With all likelihood, going to the
BC number 26, 15-yard penalty, first down.
With a 2-point lead as opposed to a 7-point lead.
Carl Kidd in too much of a hurry to get down on the coverage there. He's a good special teams guy, but that time too quick. No yards to call. First and 10 Bombers from their own 47. Glenn from the shotgun. And that ball was knocked loose in the throwing motion. Wilson got an arm in there on Glenn.
Yeah, a lot of guys in that defensive line, man, at the quarterback, and that's exactly what you want out of those forefront guys. Kevin Glenn does not have time or room to attempt to throw this pass. You see Tyrone Williams and Chris Wilson, as you mentioned, from the backside, swatting that ball down. Very fortunate that it was in a throwing motion, or it would have been considered a fumble.
Glenn missed 4 games this year with an injured thumb. Daly must have been having a couple of flashbacks there. It looks as if Glenn's okay. This is Roberts. He's got room. Roberts.
I see it. Nice fucking tackle, boy.
Was going to turn on the jets and go, but he cut it back in instead of staying outside. And Kidd made the tackle.
Carl Kidd with an excellent open field tackle on one of the hardest guys to bring down in open field. You say he brings it back in. Look at him square up. When you get the helmet between the knees, you are exactly in perfect position to bring down the ball carrier or receiver.
16-yard gain. First and 10 Bombers. Glenn puts it up. He's got Stokes. And Stokes driven out of play at the 11-yard line.
Well, Keith Stokes pushed off. And that is exactly what Tony Tiller is saying. Stokes tried to get some separation at the last second, pushed off on 24. Official did not throw the flag, and as a result, the Bombers will take advantage of that, no call, and have it first and 10 on the 10-yard line. Take a look at the end of this play. You're going to see him right there, just push off to get some separation off of Tony Tiller.
First and 10 Bombers. Glenn from the shotgun. Milt Stegall. Touchdown Bombers.
Well, Milt Stegall with 2 catches and 2 touchdowns. That's a heck of a ratio. That's exactly how you like to have it. Every catch is a touchdown. Big break by the Bombers with a no call on Keith Stokes. Gets him down to the 10-yard line. And once again, Milt Stegall just finds an opening. It's broken coverage again. He gets behind the defenders, and Kevin Glenn lays in a perfect pass. And with 6 seconds left, the Bombers back in front.
Troy Westwood puts the icing on the cake for Milt Stegall's 126th career touchdown. his second in this game.
Well, Milt Stegall can make it happen as we run this play. No one's going to just pick him up. He's just in the middle. He's going to make a little inside move to the outside. He's just in there and ball perfectly. And it's just one of those things again, Steve. We've seen it time and time again where the two defensive backs are almost looking at each other saying, you got him. No, I got him. Well, you know what? Nobody's got him. And he ends up with an easy touchdown. That's the second time he's exploited coverage for a touchdown. He may be going for the hat trick as you heard him there in the second half.
Sixth time in this game that the lead has changed hands.
Can you put this camera on Charlie so I can figure out what he was trying to do when he was trying to jump up with 2 feet?
Frank Rigney in the middle of your picture there, a former Bomber and now an alumnus, back for that 75th anniversary reunion. He was named to the top 20 all-time of the Bombers, along with Chris Walby and many others. Dieter Brock, Tom Clements, Indian Jack Jacobs, as you said. A low kick. And there's a rare move. The Bombers caught a little surprised by that move as the BC Lions kicked it back in with no time remaining on the clock. Anderson just booted it back.
And Troy trying to show he's got some toughness in him, decides not to just run out of bounds and kill a half, but take it up the field and pick up some yardage.
But it's the Bombers who go into the room in front 21-16. Elliott.
Steve, with Jim Daly, and Jim, it doesn't look like, even though your team is barely hanging on for a playoff spot, it's taken you a lot to motivate these guys to play.
No, our guys have played hard all year. We're still a team that's got a lot of work to do, but the one thing we've had all year is effort. That we're a very physical team, and they've played with great concentration and professionalism. So this is how we've played all year, other than 1 or 2 exceptions.
Stegall has 2 catches and 2 touchdowns. How is he able to get so open over the middle on those big plays?
Well, his intelligence is what allows him to read and adapt to the coverages as well as he does. But he's way faster than people give him credit for, and he is able to deke and stick step and get behind people very effectively.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Jim Daly, the head coach of the Blue Bombers. His team is up 21-16. When they find Stegall, they score. That's what the Lions will have to fix in the second half.
Welcome back to Winnipeg. We're about to get the second half underway in the second game of our Thanksgiving Day doubleheader. Bombers and Winnipeg. And the Bombers are in front 21-16 as we join Elliott with the head coach of the BC Lions.
Thanks, Steve. Wally, first the easy one. How do you assess Buck Pierce' first half performance?
Well, he's been up and down, but again, Buck Pierce hasn't given up 21 points. So defensively, we got to do a lot better job.
Also wondering, what do you say to Anderson and Johnson, who tried to pick up the fumble there for the touchdown, the block punt for the touchdown instead of covering it?
Well, again, that should have been an easy touchdown, but that's not the point. We're down by 5 now. We got to play a whole lot better to win this game.
Thank you, Wally. Steve?
Thank you, Elliott. Some magic special moments here at halftime at Canad Inns Stadium in Winnipeg, as all week long they've been celebrating 75 years of Bomber football here in Winnipeg, and some of the all-time greats, 20, remembered here in a special ceremony at halftime. And Chris Walby is in that very select group of 20, and he's sporting the new look uni of the Bombers, and you like it.
I like it, and I should be in one of those vehicles that just couldn't get enough insurance.
We couldn't find one big enough. But I think Joe Pawlowski put it really well when he said the Bomber football is more than just fourth quarters. It's a lifetime. It's
a family. It really is a family, and I know that some people around Canada have heard about the Tyrone Jones story, and we'll touch on it, I'm sure. The fact that he is being diagnosed with an inoperable cancer. And, we're doing a lot of things we can to raise money for him because he doesn't have the good insurance down there in the States that we have up here in Canada. And, our hearts go out to him. And it was just great to see a guy like Ty Jones. And, we talk about the family atmosphere of the football club, and nothing was ever echoed more soundly as when the guys got together and did this thing, and the club did this for Tyrone. It's just, it's what real life's about.
It must have been very special to see that many of your former teammates get back together here in Winnipeg to celebrate 75 years of Bomber football. And there are just some of the alumnus. As the Lions kick off to get this second half underway, they trail the Bombers 21-16. And the kickoff goes out of play, out of bounds, as we check the stats from that first half.
Well, an exciting first half. We had a lot of offense in the first half. Milt Stegall, 2 touchdowns, 2 receptions. The big turnover right here that only cost the Bombers 2 points. They get a safety. Brett Anderson could not follow the ball in the back of the end zone. Other than that, it's quite similar. But the 2 stars so far, Milt Stegall, and how about Charles Roberts rushing the football, averaging over 7 yards a carry.
Milt Stegall with a couple of key receptions, both of them touchdowns for the Bombers. He didn't get much service in the first quarter, but in the second quarter they found him. Kevin Glenn puts it in, and this could be 6. Roberts coming up just short on the end zone.
If you want to know how fast Charles Roberts is, take a look at this play, because he is being covered by one of the quicker linebackers in the league, and Otis Floyd. It's just a one-on-one. He gets outside, takes it to the sideline, turns it into a wheel route, breaks it up the sideline by the numbers. Good effort by Otis Floyd to grab the ankle, but not before he gets down to the 1-yard line, and what a way to open the second half.
And they ruled that he went down at the 1. So the Bombers with an explosive first play to begin this second half. Our first and goal from the Lions 1 as the plays blown down.
Timeout, BC.
And they need some time to think about what just happened.
Yes. Yeah, we just started.
There's Dave Ritchie, the former Bomber head coach, now the defensive coordinator for the BC Lions. His defense not enjoying their finest afternoon here in Winnipeg. From the 1. They give to Roberts. He tries to finish it off, doesn't get into the end zone, runs right into Floyd, and preventing Roberts from scoring.
And they're going to run the wishbone. They're bringing in backup defensive lineman Laposta right there, and there's Wade Miller, double back. They're going to lead the way. Charles Roberts tries to cut it back inside, and a great job of the linebacking crew of the Lions to stuff that at the 1.
How fitting is that, the wishbone formation on Thanksgiving Day?
Makes me hungry.
Second and goal. And once again, Roberts denied by the Lions defense. Williams brings him down.
Well, the horse, Tyrone Williams, 42 tackles coming into this football game. Probably one of the strongest interior linemen in the CFL. And he just fights through the block of Abu Mekrek and brings down Roberts again at the 1. Here we go, 3rd and 1.
Bombers in front, 21-16. A chance to pad that lead. Good throw from Glenn. Touchdown, Bombers.
Steve, football is a game of adjustments. You go to the well twice, you get stuff with Charles Roberts. You know the whole BC Lion team is keying on number 1. What a fake to Wade Miller, and he comes around the side. Little bootleg, naked, comes in, scores a touchdown. That is a great adjustment, and it fooled the BC Lion defense.
Kevin Glenn on the Winnipeg offense has scored on 3 of their last 4 possessions. as Westwood tries the point after, and it's good. 28-16, the Bombers strike early in the second half here in Winnipeg. Kevin Glenn gets the touchdown to put the Bombers up 28-16, and this is how he did it.
Well, they're running the wishboners. 3 backs right there. Now, as we run the play, it starts with the hand. A fake hand off to Wade Miller. Now, freeze it. Now, look at this. Here's Otis Floyd. He has got to respect Charles Roberts on the pitch. That allows him to get to the outside, find the opening, and exploit the BC Lion defense. Great adjustment on the 3rd down call.
Floyd went to Roberts, but it was Glenn who did the damage. Lockett crosses the 15, brought down by Woodson. So Buck Pierce and the BC Lions offense will have to dig themselves out of a hole.
Well, let's take a look at Buck Pierce's first half passing chart. 12 of 20, 133 yards, no touchdowns. Again, nothing deep. Staying in the mid to short range, trying to do a little bit of the Dave Dickinson ball control offense. Might have to attack these guys, the Bomber defense, a little more vertically in the second half.
Lions from their own 18, 1st and 10. The fake buys some time. Looking downfield, and it's incomplete. It was intended for Jason Claremont, but he had to turn around as he was moving forward, and he could never really locate the ball and hang on.
Could never locate the ball, but a nice job of Stanford Samuels, 16, seeing him, watching the receiver, and not doing anything. You see how he turns around and faces the ball at the last second? That's why there's no pass interference call, because he has a right to that football as much as the receiver. That's a good job by Stanford Samuels on the play.
Good news for the Lions. Angus Reid is back at center. He was taken off in the second quarter. Pierce to pass, has time, puts it up, looking for Paris Jackson, well over his head.
Well, Buck Pierce paid the price, as I believe Sean Woodson really came in and laid a licking on him. He got up hobbling, favoring that left leg, and we talked about this in the first half. Casey Printers is ready to play. They say his shoulder's at the point right now where he's going to have discomfort no matter what. He's got to learn to play through it. Good job in the secondary to hold, make Buck Pierce hold on to that football. As you see, Sean Woodson laying a lick on him.
Pierce on the bench, on the field. The Lions are 2 and out. O'Malley. Punch from his own 10. Stokes still on his feet. Stokes inside the 45-yard line of the Lions. Good field position for Kevin Glenn on the Bombers offense. Lockbaum there to make the stop.
Well, you gotta love this second effort being shown by this Bomber football club. This is a 4-10 team who are not playing anything like their record. Kevin Glenn leading an explosive offense today. 2 big strikes. The Milt Stegall for touchdowns. Look at those deep numbers right there. Right-hand side, Milt Stegall caught a ball, and he did it on the left side. 13 yards out to Stoddard.
And they're doing it without Chris Brazel, who left the game with an injury.
Knock his fucking head off.
A rare miss for Kevin Glenn.
Well, Scott Robinson basically saw the hit coming. I think kind of shied away from going for that football. You talked about Chris Brazel leaving the football game, the man that came in to replace him, Scott Robinson. Heard a little footsteps on that one, Steve, and I think retracted the arms.
2nd and 10 Bombers on the Lions 44.
Let's go, Richard!
First time an offense has started inside the opponent's territory. That time Roberts is met quickly by the Lions. Barron Simpson. We were looking forward to this matchup. Simpson against Roberts, and Roberts loses that round.
Well, that was as we see Casey Printers warming up on the sidelines. The play previous, Barron Simpson is basically just doing a spy technique on Charles Roberts. Wherever number 1 goes, 51 of the BC Lions is going to go. He brings the play down. There's number 1, and number 51 will show up on your screen shortly. That's his cover responsibility. But it's interesting, as they showed, Casey Printer starting to throw that football. That'll be the first action, Steve, since August.
John Ryan getting set to punt for the Bombers. Kick comes from the 50-yard line. Straight up the middle. Lockett drops on it. So the Bombers pick up a point. 29-16, favor Winnipeg. Casey Printers, the object of a lot of controversy in Lion Country back in BC, is in the game, replacing Buck Pierce at quarterback.
Well, here's a guy that basically has only played in 4 games this year. Last year's most outstanding player. Didn't play in the Grey Cup. He had a sour taste in his mouth coming into camp. But here he is right now, taking the snap.
And he gives to Warren, and Warren gets out across the 40-yard line before being double-teamed by McGriggs and Woodson. Here's Elliott.
Steve, the question is this an injury or ineffectiveness substitution, or both? Buck Pierce was hurt on the last play. What they're calling right now a right knee bruise. They say he could go back in, but it just makes it unsure as to whether or not he was yanked or he's hurt at this point in time, Steve.
We'll see what kind of a job Casey Printers can do. He completes the pass to Claremont.
Hang on.
Claremont has enough for the first down. Pierce came out and did a great job making his first start as a pro for the Lions, but he's sort of inexperience perhaps caught up to him in the second and early in the third.
Well, I thought they got some pressure on him. They started getting some hits on him. And as a result, I think Buck Pierce started to overthrow open receivers. And I really believe that had a lot to do with the decision to put Casey Printers back in at quarterback.
The ball at the 52-yard line. 1st and 10 for Casey Printers and the Lions. Printers can run. We've seen this movie before.
Well, it's not only the fact that he can run, Steve, it's the fact that he is so strong as a runner. This is a big man. He's 6'2", 220 pounds. He is working out diligently in the weight room. He's got a sore shoulder, but he's been doing a lot of core exercises. We always know he can scramble, but he's very hard to bring down in the open field. He's almost a bigger version of Winnipeg's #1, Charles Roberts.
I've got to believe that if Buck Pierce could have done the job this afternoon, Wally would have stayed with Pierce.
I agree with you 100%.
But Printers is in the game. 2nd and 8 for the Lions. Printers completes to Claremont. Close to the first down.
Another interesting aspect of the story of Casey Printers is he finally took some reps with the first team this week. For the weeks prior, he was just icing his shoulder, jogging up and down the sidelines, throwing a couple balls, going and getting treatment. So how good is it that he got a couple reps with his first offense last week? And I tell you what, if you're a Bomber fan, you have to be scared about the potential of Casey Printers. Last year in 2 games, 7 touchdown passes. As a matter of fact, the last game he played against the Bombers in October, threw for over 400 yards.
You have to wonder if Casey Printers and his head coach, Wally Bono, are on the same page. Wally wanting Casey to come back into the lineup a little quicker than Casey was willing to do.
Well, you know what? Wally's always been surrounded by guys that he considered are warriors, tough guys. Dave Dickinson, perfect example. You have to drag him off the football field. Had it not been a concussion injury, Dave Dickinson would be playing in this game today.
Less than a yard to go to keep the drive alive. Printers on the sneak.
Good job,
and you know, there's another aspect, and I know we're talking a lot about different things, intangibles, but I think when you get #1 back in the huddle, the emotion and motivation, the enthusiasm picks up. It's just because when you got a rookie in there, and nothing against Brock Pierce, he's an unknown. He's played out, sporadically in 5 games, But you know what this man can do. He was the outstanding player last year. Hasn't had a lot of reps. Hasn't even thrown a touchdown this year. But you know what he can do.
There's Pierce on the bike on the sidelines. Printers gets some time with a good fake. Puts it up. Deep. Incomplete. He was looking for G. Roy Simon, one of his favorite targets.
And it was interesting. Buck Pierce said yesterday in the press conference that, you know, he molds himself after both quarterbacks. Dave Dickinson, who likes to do the ball control, shorter passes, and he says, I love to throw the deep ball like Casey Printers. Well, Casey Printers comes in right away and stretches that Bomber defense vertically. Now, of course, the timing might be up. He hasn't thrown a lot in the last 4 or 5 weeks, but he didn't miss by much on that deep one to G. Roy Simon.
He got a lot of time, and this is an offensive line that gave up 59 sacks coming into this game. This time it's complete, and he's got the first down to Myers.
Well, Casey Printers is doing an excellent job of sitting back there, getting time, as you say, from the offensive line, and reading the receivers inside out. He looks inside, waits for it to develop, checks off to a second receiver, finds him in the hole, delivers the ball to Jarrell Myers for a first down.
Printers good on 3 of 4 passes in this drive for 33 yards. First and 10. Printers from the shotgun. Again, he's got time, and this time no receiver. He was looking for Claremont. Claremont couldn't get his hands on it. Good coverage from Samuels, stepping right in front of Claremont.
Well, we've seen Samuels today, and he has had a couple remarkable plays from that halfback position. And again, it's just trailing. He's covering Jason Claremont. He's in the middle of your screen, just going to break across. Look how he hides in that hip pocket. Then he gets the left hand out there and knocks that ball down. Excellent job of coverage by number 16, Samuels.
Second and 10 Lions from the Bombers 32. Printers from the shotgun. Puts it up. He's got a man wide open. G. Roy Simon down inside the 5.
Well, that is why you move your receivers around. You try and get a matchup. This time, we just talked about Samuels and the good job he did on Claremont. Watch G. Roy Simon go. Now, he just runs straight away from Samuels, and the speed of Simon gets separation. And by the time the ball is delivered, all Samuels can do is just bring him down, but not before a big game.
And G. Roy Simon, 1,012 yards receiving on the season. So he breaks that 1,000-yard barrier. Warren, touchdown BC.
Well, they finished this drive off with a 1-yard plunge by Antonio Warren, but it's all Casey Printers. Good composure to sit back there and basically pick apart this defense. Look, gets time from his offensive line. Does a nice job of doing his reads and delivering the football on time. And what a way to come back in, eh? I mean, you haven't played for 4 or 5 weeks, come in first drive, take him for a touchdown.
It's one of the toughest positions in professional sport, to come in off the bench as the backup quarterback, and Casey Printers has done that in fine style. 29-23, Bombers in front.
Come on, men, one.
Welcome back to Winnipeg, where the BC Lions have moved to within 6 of the Bombers, thanks to that man, Antonio Warren.
Well, it's just going to be a counter play. They're going to block down. Watch Sherko Razuli come out and kick out the first thing. As he pulls, it's just a misdirection play. He's going to pull and kick out. He got help from Lyle Green. Excellent job at the point of attack. Antonio Warren takes it in for the touchdown, and a very impressive opening drive for Casey Printers.
Anderson with the kickoff following the touchdown. Stokes. Good second effort by Stokes. But the man who engineered the drive for the BC Lions, Casey Printers, coming in relief of Buck Pierce. Printers good on 4 of 6 passes for 63 yards, but I like the way he spread the Bombers defense.
Oh, he spread the defense. You know, they were getting some pressure on Buck Pearson. He was just sitting in the pocket. You cannot do that with Casey Printers because he will take off and beat you with his athletic ability and his legs.
Certainly showing no effects of that sore shoulder. Bombers 1st and 10. The pitch to Roberts. Roberts waiting for his blocking to form up. It didn't. And the Lions smother him, led by Williams.
Well, it's just a case of momentum. Jumping off the Bomber sideline, going over to the Lions bench right now. Big drive by the BC offense allowed the BC defense to get some rest, get some things straightened out, and they've had play with this toss to Charles Roberts earlier in the game, and this time no go as Tyrone Williams from that defensive tackle spot drags him down with one arm.
And Roberts is out of the game with a 2nd and 12 situation facing Winnipeg. Complete to Stokes. But Stokes doesn't get the first down. Tiller is there to make the stop for BC.
Just going to run a little bit of a crossing route underneath pattern, if you would, to Keith Stokes, and hopefully he's got enough speed to pull away. But Tony Tiller, number 24, who's had quite the battle with Keith Stokes already in this football game, right behind him and brings him down after a short game, forcing John Ryan onto punt.
2:51 to play, 3rd quarter. Don't go away, folks. We've got a good one going here. 2nd half of our CFL on CBC Thanksgiving Day double. Lions and Bombers. Ryan punts from the 30. Good punt. Lockett just outside his own 10. Lockett and forced out of bounds at the 45 by Woodson. Good return, good effort again by the Lions special teams.
Well, it's amazing to watch how contagious success on one part of your game will do for the rest. You saw the offense come out, masterful job of moving the football down the field. Defense says, you know what, we're not going to be outdone. We shut down the Bomber offense 2 and out. 3rd part of the game, the special teams. Lockett comes out and does his part.
Excellent punt from Ryan, traveling 58 yards. But an even better return from Aaron Lockett that gives Casey Printers and the Lions offense excellent field position. Printers has time, finds Warren. Warren pushed out of bounds at the Bombers 45 by Evan Lee.
And this is all Casey Printers as he looks down and freezes everywhere in that secondary, looking downfield, and then last second slides the ball out to his outlet receiver, Antonio Warren, in the flats, where it becomes a one-on-one situation between him and Omar Evans.
Impressive stats from Casey Printers. 5 of 7. 1st and 10. Again, good time for Printers, but that time he threw it over G. Roy Simon.
Well, I think one of the guys that's extremely happy about having number 1 back in the lineup is that man, G. Roy Simon. You remember the year he had last year, an outstanding year. I mean, obviously equaled by Casey Printers, and as soon as Casey Printers comes back in the lineup, I mean, 81 is becoming his favorite go-to target again.
2nd and 10 Lions. From the Bombers 45. They trail by 6. Over the middle to Warren. Short of the first down. Gets to the 40-yard line. Woodson with the tackle. Let's hear from G. Roy on the mic up.
You just got to get inside of him. Just you got it. Whatever you do, you cross his face. He can't get off that block. That's too smart. All that show, bro, and he got to bring it back. I ain't going for that, man. Your hand's too long, man. I see him coming.
Getting inside the game with the BC Lions outstanding receiver, number 81, G. Roy Simon. Wally Buono electing to punt here and not attempt the field goal. And O'Mani has to go off the side of his foot and out of bounds at the 20. Flag is down. And it could be a BC illegal substitution.
I don't know if they're going to make him re-punt. I mean, that's pretty good field position for the Bomber offense to start on a 20-yard line. Or do you want to push him 10 yards back and make him punt again?
Here's the call.
Illegal substitution, BC number 51. It's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
A rare mistake from the BC Lions bench. Don't see that too often.
Well, they're well coached on special teams. Interesting that they have a lot of confidence in this return game, the Bombers do, and forcing O'Mani back 10 yards and re-punt the third down.
The punt will come from the Lions 50. Stokes back just inside his own 10-yard line. And again, he angles to the right side, but Stokes is there this time. He's at the 20 and brought down at the 22-yard line. Boy, I tell you, one of the interesting stories in the CFL this season is the struggling kickers. Look at this. Canad at 68%, Westwood at 66, O'Mani really struggling at 63, and Sean Fleming. How do you explain that?
Well,
one of the great veteran kickers in the league.
And you know, he was struggling. He got back. They replaced him for a while, just kept him on as a punter. They put him back in that field goal kicking position. It was interesting yesterday in the opening drive, they elected to punt rather than try a Sean Fleming field goal.
First and 10, Bombers. Roberts. Good ball and good running from Charles Roberts.
What an excellent illustration of change of direction. He stutter steps and his feet are still going 100 miles an hour as he breaks through. Now Brent Johnson's going to get a hand on him. He thinks I got him. He tries to grab cloth, and Charles Roberts has nothing to do with that. Just runs through that would-be arm tackle. Strength again shown by the little man.
This will be the last play of the third quarter. Bombers first and 10. Again, Roberts gets the call. They have gone to the well one too many times that time. As we go to break, Bombers in front, 29-23. Fourth quarter about to get underway here at Canad Inns Stadium in Winnipeg. The Bombers up by 6 on the BC Lions. Here's the stats through 3 quarters.
Well, I think the third quarter belongs to one man. That is number 1, Casey Printers, who came in midway through that third quarter, orchestrated a 10-play touchdown drive, eating up 5 minutes of the clock. And boy, I tell you, they got to find a way to put some pressure on Casey Printers.
Glenn looking for Stokes, well over his head, incomplete. So that'll force the Bombers to punt.
I always love watching the game of adjustments made. And we saw early Milt Stegall take advantage of breakdowns by the secondary of the Lions, exploiting for 2 touchdowns. Dave Ritchie was beside himself. He coaches this defense, takes great pride in this defense, got them all together, made sure they were straight on their assignments. And since that play, they've done a nice job of shutting down the Winnipeg receivers.
And there is Ritchie, the former head coach here in Winnipeg, back for the first time in 14 months since losing that position. Ryan Lockett set to receive the punt. And Ryan. Well, controversy in BC last week. Casey Printers was caught using a cell phone on the sidelines in that loss to Saskatchewan. Here's Wally on that.
He was very much into the game. He was charting for the quarterbacks and for the coaches. I know he was very emotional as far as his support, you know, for his football club. And, you know, I think it was a little bit unfair for everybody to jump on that and make a bigger issue of what he was.
Well, that's interesting. I tell you right now, one of the things that would happen to Cal Murphy, ever caught one of our players with a cell phone, that arm would be missing.
1st and 10 Lions. Printers puts it up, and it falls short. And again, he was looking for G. Simon. Simon slipped, but the ball wasn't there. Trying to get back to it.
Well,
couldn't make the catch.
Again, Casey Printers trying to take a little off the ball this time and running a beautiful route. G. Simon, where he's going to come back to the football. As you say, 81 slips. Had he not lost his footing as he tries to come back to that football, would have been a completion. It's a nice job of Casey Printers to take something off that football, showing his touch, to put it where only the receiver, intended receiver, G. Simon, can make up that catch.
2nd and 10 Lions from their own 35. Printers is dropped for a loss. It's Walls' 2nd sack.
Well, Gavin Walls, what an outstanding year he's having. Met at the quarterback with Tom Canada. Those two defensive ends really getting the job done. And you have to put pressure on Casey Printers. You've got to make some hits on him. Get him to feel the force of your defense. If you sit him, let him sit back there all day with no pressure, he will make you pay for it. That's a great effort by both ends of the Bomber defense.
And just when it appeared that the Lions offense had turned it around, the Bombers defense comes up with the big play. O'Mani punting from his own 15. Stokes inside the 40. And he fumbles but recovers his own fumble. So when we come back, Bombers will have the ball, leading by 6. Winnipeg, 1st and 10 from their own 41. Glenn can't find Reginald, who is wide open. Just a bad throw from Glenn, but he was under pressure. He had to get away in a hurry.
A little play action pass and trying to attempt to get that ball to 21, Scott Reginald. And that really is an interesting story. Scott Reginald came here with much fanfare as being the fullback of the future for this football club. Really, I believe, underutilized in this offense.
Well, the Bombers' offense came out and exploded, but they've sputtered since then. 2nd and 10. Glenn wide open, and guess who?
Well, again, are we talking 3 for 3? This one's 69 yards. Another broken play. Wide open down the seam. Another touchdown pass from Kevin Glenn to his favorite receiver. Doesn't have to go to many times because he scores every time he catches the football. Just down the seam. This time the left, right down by the numbers. And again, Tony Tiller. Sanders, a mix-up in the coverage. The Bombers getting the right protection and the time for Kevin Glenn to exploit that breakdown.
3 receptions, 133 yards, and a hat trick for Milt Stegall. And the convert is good from Troy Westwood. The Bombers bounce back and now lead 36-23. Magnificent career. Stegall has gone over 1,000 yards receiving. Milt Stegall over 1,000 yards on the season.
Well, here he is. Now, Milt Stegall's right in there, and here's Tony Tiller, the cover guy. Now watch as this takes place. As a halfback, I want you to freeze it right there. Look at this lead. Look at his angle. You know he's going to try and play the bump. Run it, guys. He totally misses the bump. As a result, Milt Stegall says bye-bye. The ball's delivered, and it's a touchdown. If you're going to play the jam or the bump coverage, you cannot lose your position on a receiver like Milt Stegall.
leg right there.
What a career. What a season.
Yeah, I gave him the deal, ladies.
And what a lesson for the BC Lions defense against one of the great receivers in the history of this league.
Well, I think you nailed it on the head. I mean, he is just that good. And he makes every repay. He loves playing us. Remember, we talked about this last meeting last October. He had 233 yards receiving against the Lions defense. Now, obviously, that's different personnel, but he's well on his way again.
Lockett crosses the 30-yard line and brought down by Bell.
Now there's Milt Stegall enjoying the well-deserved break in the action. What has Milt Stegall done today? Well, 3 plays. And there I say it. 3 touchdowns. The last one, 69 yards.
Good work, Jay.
And he has been the difference.
Good work,
along
Neil.
with
Good work.
Charles Roberts on this Bomber offense. Printers with time. Completes to Warren. Warren across the 36-yard line.
You know, and I think we have to give some props out to the offensive line of the Bombers as well, who have really stood up to the challenge and allowed Kevin Glenn to find Milt Stegall down the field.
Second and 4 for Casey Printers and the Lions. Complete to Myers. Myers has got some room. And run out of bounds inside the Bombers' territory. BC going with a no-huddle offense.
It's a nice job of BC with go with the no-huddle to look for a miscommunication. It's man coverage. The back just sits back in a zone, and as he realizes he's got 83, it's too late. He picks up the reception and big yardage.
First and 10 BC from the Bombers' 47. Printers tries to run and is dropped before he got back to the line of scrimmage by Walls. That's his 3rd sack of the day if we give him a sack on that one.
Well, I think he's the one, and I know 76, Joe Fleming wasn't far behind. Great effort by the 4 defensive linemen, and there's Gavin Walls right there working on the left tackle. He's going to come back in, and yes, it is. He's got the legs, and he pulls down Casey Printers for the sack.
They lose a couple. 2nd and 12 for BC. Yes. Completes to Myers, but he's short of the first down.
Well, here's an interesting concept. Should we try a field goal? We talked about Old Manning. We see there's a point differential on the scoreboard. Looks like they're going to gamble on 3rd down.
Maybe part of the problem when you've got a field goal kicker who is having difficulty. 3rd and 3. And Printers out of the shotgun. Gonna put it up. And it's incomplete. Samuels in on the coverage.
Samuels in on the coverage. Geroy Simon wide open on the sidelines. Casey Printers locked in on the farther receiver downfield, tried to force the ball to him. Did not see Geroy Simon on the sideline, and you know that Simon will walk over to Casey Printers and say, hey, you got to take a look, I'm there.
And that just might be the result of Printers not having practiced all that much with his team. His timing is off. I'm not going to make excuses for Casey Printers. He doesn't need me to do that. But he hasn't been that sharp since that first drive of the Lions. Roberts goes nowhere. Picked up by the Lions. Touchdown, BC.
Oh my, just when you think you're going to bury the Lions. Frank Ferreira, 95. Grabs Charles Roberts, tosses him down as he goes down. The ball comes out, and Chris Wilson, I believe 99, takes it the rest of the way for the touchdown.
But the Bombers are indicating it's got to come back.
The ruling on the field is that the forward progress was stopped to the player at the 34-yard line.
Oh, that'll be an interesting call. I know Winnipeg will like it, but the people in Lotus Land might be a little upset. That ball is ripped out by Otis Floyd, or Chris Wilson, actually. 99 is the one. I didn't look like
yard line.
39-yard
line,
down,
second
so
down.
they're saying his progress was stopped, so that has to mean to me that it was a quick whistle. Coach Barlow not too happy with that call. He can't believe it, shaking his head.
A break for the Bombers, some will say. Forward progress was stopped on the play. Glenn, and this one's picked up by Miles. And Miles down inside the 30, so the Lions get it right back. 36-23 the score. 9 minutes to play. Kevin Glenn is intercepted. The Lions have the ball.
Well, they got a lucky break on that forward progress call, but we're going to look here. It's just 4-on-4. Pass protection, the center. Fialcone's looking to help. And Freezer right here. This is a bad throw. Look at the guys here. 1-2. You got 3 and 1 receiver. Not good odds of trying to complete that. Baron Miles with the interception.
Printers and the Lions, 1st and 10. Printers puts it up, looking for Antonio Warren. It's incomplete.
Oh, and very fortunate they did not get a guarding call or face guarding call on William Fields. He did not turn to play that football. Just going to sit back, 4-man rush, zone coverage, Woodson in the middle. And you see it. William Fields makes no attempt to turn to play that ball.
Printers may have underthrown that one. Is the shoulder giving him a problem? Printers looking for somebody. Just puts it up and out of play. Good pressure from the Bomber defense.
What you're seeing by the pressure is frustration by Casey Printers. He is initial, as you say, that first drive he came out, found great success, utilized the entire football field, spread the ball around to his receivers. Now we're getting pressure. Ron Ockamy on that play from the linebacker. Here's G-Roy Simon. Let's take a look at him working against Samuels. Great coverage by Samuels. And look at John Sullivan, the guy they think is the future at safety here, coming over, reading the deep man. That's what you want out of your safety. Great job by the secondary of the Bombers.
And speaking of pressure, this man was 0 for 3 against the Saskatchewan Roughriders at BC Place Stadium last week. Kicked for his place-kicking job in BC this past week. First field goal attempt. And it is wide. He has pulled it again. Stokes running around, killing some time. And he finally runs it out. Gets across the 7 or 8 yard line. That may have been a mishandled snap. But once again, Duncan O'Mahony pulls it wide.
It didn't look like it was a great exchange between the long snapper and Jason Crum, the holder. He did get the ball down, but as you say, O'Mahony, take a look at it, kind of struggles late to put that ball down on the tee. O'Mahony just pulls it left.
It doesn't take much to throw off a place kicker, and that slight hesitation on the part of Crum may have been enough for a guy who's really struggled with his kicking of late. Glenn puts it over the middle, and it's, guess who? Number 4 for Milt Stegall.
I have to tell you something that's going through that man's head right now. He's saying, if this is a dream, please don't let me wake up. What an afternoon. You can't believe it. I can't believe it, but it's reality. Milt Stegall, 4 catches, 4 touchdowns, 234 yards receiving. And I tell you what, the secondary of the BC Lions are not going to want to watch film tomorrow. What a remarkable afternoon for just a remarkable man.
At one point in this game, Milt Stegall didn't have a single reception, came back to the huddle, said something to Kevin Glenn, and since then, it has been all Milt Stegall. And the Bombers pouring it on now with the 2-point conversion.
We got a flag in the back of the end zone as he attempts that 2-point conversion. Looks like it's going to go against the BC Lions. Jamie Stoddard just running a little slant pattern into the middle of the football field.
Too many men.
Kevin Glenn,
BC.
right on target.
Penalties decline. Convert's good.
7:03 to play. 44-23 Bombers. A standing ovation here at Canad Inns Stadium in Winnipeg for Milt Stegall. 4 touchdown receptions.
I don't think, as a fan of this great league, you get to see performances like this. Look at them bowing down. We're not worthy. What a great thing. I mean, it's just amazing. That's Chris Brazel with the crutches right there doing his part to salute the outstanding performance by Milt Stegall this afternoon.
Second time in his magnificent career that he's done that, 4 touchdowns. Did it in 2002. Block it. Crosses the 30. Brought down at the 33. McKinley there to make the stop.
And he stopped, man. Why is he stopping? What is he looking at?
Kick for Westwood.
Well, they're just, and Milt Stegall's just saying on the sidelines, you know what, if they're not going to jam me, we're going to take another look. They're just playing. They're so scared of him. Again, it's just a missed bump. They're trying to play. He's got Tony Tiller out of a job. Tony Tiller is having a nightmare day. He doesn't know whether to bump Milt, run with Milt, and he's doing neither of them, and Milt's just taking advantage.
Lions 1st and 10. And flags go down before Casey Printers can get that play away. 6:44 to play. Bombers in front, 44-23.
But you just got to love this. When you're watching this game after years later.
BC number 55. 5-yard penalty.
As we see Sherko Azuli with the procedure call. To be able to say, I was at that game. I remember you, Milton. I guarantee Milton, you know, he's a community man. He'd be running around. Everybody will say, what a great performance. Now, there's probably 28, 30,000 here. I guarantee 50,000 will say they were at the game.
Over the middle, it's incomplete. Printers looking for Paris Jackson. Jackson couldn't hang on. Remember, the Bombers came into this with a 4-10 record, needing to run the table in wins for the remainder of the season to make the playoffs. BC trying to stop a 2-game losing streak after going 11-0.
Now, I don't want to bring this up right now, but I'm wondering if there might have been a little bit of overconfidence coming in here against a team with the change they made in their secondary and a 4-10 record.
Printers gets the pass away. He was looking for Thelwell, but it's incomplete.
But if this score holds and the Bombers do come out victors, it'll be the biggest win for Jim Daly in his 2 years here.
This is the first meeting between these two teams this season. They will do it all again in 2 weeks at BC Place Stadium.
Well, you saw Casey Printers, who came in on his opening drive, ran a 10-play, 5-minute drive. They are 0 for their last 5 offensive possessions.
O'Mahony will get this punt away from his own 15-yard line. Stokes allowing it to bounce before he picks it up. Flags go down. Stokes looking for running room. Stopped at about the 47, 48-yard line. 5:45 to play, 4th quarter. Bombers with the lead, 44-23. Well, if you enjoyed our doubleheader action this afternoon. You'll enjoy our single offering. Next Saturday, we come to you live from Commonwealth Stadium, where the Eskimos will entertain Danny Barrett and Marcus Crandall. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders, the battle for second continues in the West with those two teams. Looking forward to that one. 5:37 to play here in Winnipeg. 44-23 Bombers, and they're 1st and 10. Glenn completes to Stokes. Stokes still going. Comes up shy of the 40-yard line.
The thing that amazes me about this team, it took Winnipeg about 3 or 4 games to realize we need to incorporate number 3 on our offense. Keith Stokes is a playmaker, and when you got guys like that, and when we had Brazel, it opens up plays for Milt Stegall. But look at the toughness.
Carl Kidd paid a price on that one. Shaken up on the tackle. 1st and 10 Bombers from the Lions' 40-yard line. Roberts. And no gain there for Blink. Charles Roberts, who along with Stegall has had an outstanding game for the Bombers.
Well, let's take a look at the game notes. Something we thought might be important today on offense. Boy, I tell you, you don't get any closer to that 4 touchdown catches. Milt Stegall, he was the man. On defense, we said the buck stops here. Buck Pierce left the game in the 3rd quarter.
Almost like these two teams were reading your script. Glenn in and out of the arms of Milt Stegall, who was looking for his 5th TD. He could have got it there if he'd have been able to hang on.
Well, I also think if they'd have hit Milt in stride, Milt had to kind of stop and come back on that play. I know that he's got his cover man running scared. I watched the play previous. They're putting Baron Miles down to help him with the coverage on number 85. He's not happy. He wants to catch every ball. He's had an amazing afternoon.
4 touchdowns for Stegall. And as I said, at one point in the game, he was really frustrated because he wasn't getting the ball. Said something to his quarterback. They made the adjustments. And since then, Kevin Glenn has been able to find him when needed.
You think they might pull these jerseys out for another game?
I would think so. They play the Argos next. They may travel with them. Well, after going 11-0 out of the chute, Wally Bono's got to wonder what he's got to do to turn this team around, in danger of now losing 3 in a row since winning 11 straight.
Well, I just think it just shows me the importance of number 12, the guy that's not here today, Dave Dickinson.
Complete to Thelwell. Thelwell taken out of bounds at the 23-yard line.
Well, let's take a look what we thought might have to happen in the game notes, the Gillette game notes for the BC Lions. We talked about Antonio Warren. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, both only 1 yard out. He's only had 2 carries in the second half. Blink no more. We talked about the fact they had to stop Charles Roberts. How about 146 yards of offense by number 1.
Predators 1st and 10. And he completes it. Needs a couple of big ones. 2:49 to play. 44-23 the margin for the Bombers. 2:49 to play here in Winnipeg. Lions and Bombers. Bombers up 44-23. The second half of the double. CFL on CBC on Thanksgiving Day. Good to have you with us. Good to be back. KC Printers, not so sure he's too happy to be back right now. He's scrambling. He's got another first down. Still on his feet. Wisely steps out of play, but we've got a flag down in the backfield.
And a flag in the backfield, and they may bring this all the way back. Probably another holding call against this offensive line.
BC number 62. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Bobby Singh, the culprit this time. Negating a nice run by KC Printers.
Here's Elliott with an update on the Lions starting quarterback.
Yes, Steve, we're going to find out after the game probably whether or not Buck Pierce was taken out due to injury or effectiveness. They're saying it's a bruised knee. He was riding the bike for a while. Buono went to go check on his health, but he was wrapped up in ice and couldn't go the rest of the day. Chris Brazzell showed up back here in crutches. He has a cracked bone in his right knee and a right leg, and it won't look good for the rest of the year for him, guys.
Not good news for the Bombers or the BC Lions. Myers with the reception. But again, a flag in the backfield. This time, looks like it's against the Bombers.
Tom Canada is going to get a late hit on Casey Printers, but there's Corey Mantica, and you got to talk about the toughness of this man.
Major foul, roughing the passer, Winnipeg number 44. It's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. First down.
Corey Mantica, the 13-year veteran, in a lot of pain. He has knee braces on. Last year, you can see major damage to the elbow. He has to wear a brace on that left elbow. That limits his extension with that arm. He's still out there doing his job. He says, I'm not in bad shape. He says, I'm just in old shape. Let's take a look and see what happened on him. He's at the top of your screen. He grabs that right knee. He just catches it. He drags it. That's one of those scenarios, Steve, where you drag the foot and it doesn't plant and the knee just buckles.
And when you see the head coach walking out to the injured player, you know there has got to be some level of concern on the part of Wally Buono as he takes a look at his veteran offensive line.
They did sign Chris Burns as an insurance policy back in this past week in Vancouver. But Corey Mantica, you just don't replace a guy like that. I'm talking about the qualities he brings on the field and in the locker room. He is a big leader. You see these guys after the game, they all hang around with Corey Mantica. He's their outspoken guy. He's the guy. He's the guy that stirs the pot. That's a good sign right there, seeing a couple of guys smack him on the shoulder pads as he walks off under his own steam. He's a warrior. He'll be back. He's got room for a couple more braces on that body.
And during that injury timeout, Printers in discussion with his offensive coordinator, Jacques Chapdelaine, as Printers comes back to the huddle. Lions down 44-23, 2:31 to play in the fourth quarter here in Winnipeg.
And they bring Mo Elwanibi back in again for the second time. Earlier replacing Angus Reid, who was shook up earlier in the game.
Ball at the 42, and Printers fumbles the snap. And he can't get away. He's brought down at the 30-yard line.
Well, we talked about the game that Milt Stegall is having on offense. How about the game that is being displayed by Gavin Walls on the defensive line? That's got to be his third or fourth quarterback sack of the afternoon. I've just got confirmation from David Moore. It is 4.
And down on the Winnipeg bench, Russ Mitchner is warming up. Could come in relief of Kevin Glenn, but not before Casey Printers completes to G. Roy Simon.
And the game is getting sloppy as we take a look at the game summary. Stegall, obviously, what a night. 4 catches, 4 touchdowns. Walls, 4 quarterback sacks. Look at Kevin Glenn. We haven't talked about him. 405 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, and that's the big one right here. They haven't won a game versus the West this year. They were 0-7. Big win for Jim Daly and his squad.
All their wins have come at the expense of teams out of the East.
Unnecessary roughness, BC number 55. It's a dead ball foul, 3rd down.
Well, this is always a scary part of the game where with a couple minutes left, tempers start to take forefront and players start to take shots. And look at this. You see right there, he just walks up to him, Shark Rizzoli, and basically 2 hands. Tom Canada.
Frustration on the part of the BC Lions, and maybe a little fatigue on the part of the Bombers, who have put together one of their more impressive performances both offensively and defensively here against a very good football team in the BC Lions.
I think it'd be safe to say this is the best they've played in 2005, and hopefully they can continue to build on this. But on the other side of the coin, what's going through the Lions' mindset now after losing 2? And they said, you know what, we lost to 2 pretty good teams in Saskatchewan and Edmonton. They'd be manhandled by the Bombers.
O'Malley with the punt. Stokes takes it and is hit immediately. No yards. That one sends a message for the rematch, does it not?
Well, that's Jamal Johnson, the kid they're looking at possibly replacing Barron Simpson in the middle linebacker spot if Barron ever decides to retire. And he didn't give any yards, he just strictly ran over Keith Stokes. Wasn't any attempt to slow down.
Daly trying to control his team. He doesn't want to lose control.
Well, he doesn't want to lose a player either, and that's the biggest thing when you got a guy like Keith Stokes, who's such an integral part of your special teams, and also as a receiver, you don't want to lose a player on that kind of play. This is where the referees have to step in and set the standard, take control. If they're going to disqualify him, that'll be the thing right now. It looks like Glenn Johnson, the referee, is going to do exactly that, Steve.
We have no yards. BC number 39, that's a 15-yard penalty. We have major foul, rough play, disqualification. BC number 39, that's a 25-yard penalty. First down.
A good call from Glenn Johnson.
Well, these are things that Wally Buono has to address with his team. The lack of composure. We saw it earlier with Sherko Rizzoli as the fans let Jamal Johnson know how they feel about him.
And he had to go through the Bomber bench, and Jim Daly was there holding his players back. Emotions very high here in Winnipeg. If you can get a ticket for the rematch at BC Place Stadium in 2 weeks, do it now.
I've been driving down. Put that last turkey leg down and go to the ticket office. Better yet, send me that turkey leg because I haven't eaten yet.
Russ Michna is in the game for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Kevin Glenn having done an outstanding job in directing this Winnipeg offense this afternoon. And it's all reliable. Roberts down inside the 20.
Now, I know a lot of teams are going to say, hey, what's up with this? You got 44-23 left, a minute 50 and ticking. I like the killer instinct shown by teams. This is how you develop character. You got to sometimes step on the throat of your opponent.
Daly talked about the emotion of the 75th anniversary here in Winnipeg this afternoon. All the alumnus coming back. He said we can feed off of that. We can gain some momentum. And it certainly worked. A fumble from Roberts. Johnson picks it up for the Lions. They take over. They're not done yet.
Well, this is just a scenario of not having a lot of reps with Russ Michna. And the exchange between Charles Roberts and Russ Michna. He gets it a little high on the shoulder pad, and as a result, Charles Roberts isn't able to secure the football. Pops forward, and BC Lions recover.
Michna trying to explain what went wrong, but I think you were right. Lack of reps, lack of timing, not getting a great deal of playing time can make a big difference. Lions 1st and 10. Critters under pressure. Wide open field in front of him, but that's not going to cut it. We're just looking for Claremont.
I'm going to tell you one of the other tests, even though it's late in the game, we're going to test Casey Printers, not only for his shoulder toughness, his character a little bit too. Taking some heat about the fact his shoulder's not as sore. He's finally learned he's got to play through the little bit of pain. It's part of the rehab process. He gets hit late again. Sean Woodson, who had the big stick on Buck Pierce that put him out of the football game.
Well, that'll test his pain threshold because, boy, that was a big hit.
Oh, it was. And, you know, you just want to say, you know what, you got a guy like Casey Printers. He's got to stand up. He's the leader now.
He's still in the game. Dumps it off to Warren. Warren tries to get outside and find some yardage to keep the drive alive.
That's a nice job of just doing a little shovel pass to Antonio Warren. One of the things I know this BC offense is going to go back and look at, Steve, is what happened to Jason Claremont. He was such a big part of moving the football. You saw him breaking tackles, and he's almost forgot about number 82, and I think that's something they're going to have to address.
They get the first down. 1st and 10 Lions. Printers saw some daylight, but it closed very quickly.
Well,
Fleming and Walls combining.
Gavin Walston, sure. I mean, he is just having a whale of a football game. I mean, the thing they really want to work on, they saw the great defenses in the CFL. Don Matthews in Montreal was built on speed. I think Jim Daly's going to like some of the people he's got playing right now. There's some guys I can see with some very bright futures.
Printers looking for some help, and he finally found it. He was able to hook up with Claremont. Gallant was covering on the play.
Boy, Sean Gallant, we haven't mentioned his name very often this afternoon. He took over for the recently traded Wes Lysak. Does a nice job of timing that hit, but great concentration by Jason Claremont to hang on to that pass.
Clock is running. Just over 40 seconds to play in the 4th quarter. Lions trying to salvage some pride. Claremont unable to come up with the catch.
Well, an old pitcher terminology, that ball was low and away.
Here's Elliott.
Steve, I was just standing here on the sideline minding my own business when a big Hulk named Jermise Jones came up next to me and said, "Can you pass on a message?" I said, "Sure." He says, "Could you thank Chris Walby for the help, the tips he gave me?" So Chris, he says thanks, and I'm calling into question your journalistic objectivity.
What do you mean? Coach Walby is being questioned?
I'll tell you what, I talked to him a little bit yesterday. He's had a heck of a football game, and it's got nothing to do with me.
Printers throws that one into the dirt. You gotta now wonder about that shoulder. And again, great pressure from Walls.
Well, the only person they can bring in now is Jarius Jackson, the 3rd string out of Notre Dame. But I think Wally, as you know, he wants to see what he can get out of Casey Prentice. Casey Prentice, he's testing his mettle right now.
He's going to earn his Wally Buono spurs the hard way.
Give me the sideline.
3rd and 10. Printers puts it up, and it's complete to G. Roy Simon. Keeps the drive alive, and he stops the clock by going out of bounds. 23 seconds to play. 44-23 the margin. Favor the Bombers.
And I'll tell you the thing that separates good players from great players is their ability to keep working 100%. They don't give up on the ball, and they don't give up on the football game. Great example of this again by G. Roy Simon, just staying with the route, running it to the sideline. Printers delivering the football. They're all in the football game. It's called 60 minutes.
Printers going deep, and he was looking for Myers. Myers stretched out, but he couldn't get to the ball, and that was well thrown.
Well, I've been impressed with the delivery of the football by Casey Printers. We've seen him go with the deep ball. We've also seen him show some touch passes, shorter patterns. I think Casey Printers is going to be stiff tomorrow because it's the first time he's actually been in game action. But you know what they say, you got to get back on that bike and ride again, even if you fall off, and I think that's what he's doing today.
17 seconds to play. 2nd and 10. for BC. Through the middle, complete to Paris Jackson. Jackson brought down at the 20 as the seconds tick away. And it looks as if BC is going to lose 3 in a row. And the Bombers are going to beat a Western opponent for the first time this season.
Well, Winnipeg just playing that prevent defense, giving up chunks of yardage, hoping to bend and not break. But nice throw by Casey Printers.
Should be the last play of the game. Printers looking to the end zone, and he can't get it away as the Bombers force the fumble. What a great defensive effort by the much maligned Winnipeg defense as they beat a good football team 44-23 here in Winnipeg this afternoon on the week that the Bombers were celebrating their 75th anniversary of professional football. What a great way to finish that week. Now let's go down to Elliott with Milt Stegall.
Thank you, Steve. Milt, we saw a shot of you in the first half where you went back to the huddle and said, I'm open. Next play was your first of 4 touchdowns. What did you see out there that they weren't doing?
Well, I knew I was going against a newer DB, and he's an exciting player. He's quick and fast, but he hadn't seen all the moves I have. But, you know, I was just fortunate today to be put in some good positions and having to make some plays to help us win the game, which is the most important thing. Hold on for 1 second. Hey, baby.
I was just going to say, you know what? He's going over to Tony Tiller right now. And you know what? That's interesting you just did that because his head was down on the bench. He was pretty devastated. Why would you go over and just talk to him?
And I told him before the game, besides quarterback, that halfback is the toughest position in professional football. You know, you got somebody running at your full speed, and a lot of times you don't have help anywhere, and he didn't have any help anywhere today. And we had some great blocking. Kevin just threw me some great passes, and I was just in the right place at the right time.
Thank you, Milt. Congratulations. Steve?
Thank you, Elliott. What a performance by that man, Milt Stegall. 4 touchdowns in leading the Bombers to their 44-23 win over the BC Lions here in Winnipeg this afternoon. The much maligned Winnipeg Blue Bombers defense stepped up big time in this one against the Lions this afternoon in Winnipeg, thanks in large part to Gavin Walls, who is standing by now with Elliott Friedman. Elliott?
Thank you, Steve. Gavin, monster game for you today. Casey Printers, first drive he comes in, 10 plays, it takes him for a touchdown. How did you guys make the adjustment to slow him down?
We just came out here, you know, we had a good week of practice and just, you know, take one play at a time regardless of our record. And we know it's a good football team, and we just try to come out here and, you know, we had a break just the last couple of weeks and just come out and try to jump on these guys and stay on them, and, you know, we came out on top.
So when Casey had the first drive, how did you adjust to him after that?
I knew he's a great athlete, he's a great runner, but, you know, I just play my game, and, you know, if he wants to run, then I'll pursue him, but, you know, I just play my game and let the man upstairs take care of everything else.
Thank you. Good job tonight, Gavin.
Thanks, buddy.
Steve?
Thank you, Elliott. And if you're looking for a warrior of the game, brought to you by Rona, the how-to people, look no further than that man, Gavin Walls. 4 sacks on the afternoon here in front of the hometown fans. He was big against Casey Printers. He just feasted on Printers. 11 sacks for the season, but 4 were accounted at home this afternoon.
Warrior of the game. Brought to you by Rona, the how-to people, proudly Canadian.
The sun is setting here in Manitoba, and it shone brightly on a big Bombers win, 44-23 this afternoon over the Lions.